Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Hello, all you people out there in YouTube land. You ever just have way too much time to think? Yeah, I don't think everyone does, but when you're lucky enough, it's a good thing. And then that good thing becomes way too much because you've been stuck by yourself thinking for a while because you're recovering from surgery. Yeah. So, I've had an interesting year. Had a few surgeries and pretty long recovery, which I'm toward the end of now. And I've been thinking way too much. You ever think you're smart, start learning stuff, and then realize how dumb you are? Because the more you learn, the more questions you get, and the more things you ask that are unanswered. Then you get answers to those, and just keep on asking questions. So, mythology, history, kind of the same thing. Tales that modern people are like, no, that's too weird. That must be a story. Bedtime stories. But if a bedtime story is told by every culture on the planet repeatedly and the similarities match up to a point where you start to think maybe that actually happened. Ever read the Bhagavad Gita? Do you know what Vimanas are? Ever wonder why everything that is considered godly is considered aliens, is considered non-human, is kind of pretty the same thing. Always up a mountain. Why is it always up a mountain? The mountains in Peru, the shaved mountaintops, Mount Olympus, they live in a mountain, on a mountain, under a mountain. There's always mountain people, the Urluk mountains in Russia, whatever the ones where people were on like a camping trip and some weird shit happened. Sorry for swearing. Or the Doga. Is it Doga? Dogon people of Africa and their telling of their history, which is the sky people that came down and taught them all kinds of stuff and beads and jewelry, and that actually happens a lot too. Sky people, Anu, Enki, and Leo, Anunnaki, all that kind of, or the ant people, or the Peruvians under the, the Native American tribes that ascended from underground after a major catastrophe. Why is there a flood story everywhere? Why were there ships on top of the mountain? They're mountains again. Maybe that's where they all hung out during the flood. And when the flood stopped, all the people that came out from underground, they're like, oh, look, they lived. Let's keep them. And we're just like a big zoo now. The people who are actually dumb as a box of rocks most of the time end up building iPods and making Starbucks. I mean, if you had an ant farm and they started making iPhones and picking coffee and making chocolate, like, you would keep that ant farm. It'd be pretty cool. And it'd be even cooler if you could go hang out in the ant farm with the ants and hang out like you were one of them. Because what if aliens aren't actually all alien looking? What if they all look like people, or some of them look like people? The blue people, the red people. Everyone's always picturing grays with the giant eyes and the tiny little chins, very, very pale skin. Truthfully, some of them kind of look Asian. What if Asians actually are the colony of the Greys? And the races of people and their very distinct features is just variances from being hybridized. They'll have a general primate, distant cousin, Lucy, like missing link type stuff. But what if it's even more complicated than that? What if they, took a pinch here, took a dash there from various things and just kind of did the Legos to make humanity, and that's why we're all so varied and different. The people, colonies, what is it? Is it Malaysia? I think it's Malaysia. They live off the coast of something, island of something. They can actually dive and hold their breath for like 13 to 20 minutes underwater, and their spleen is like 6 times bigger. What if they're able to do that because their spleen is 6 times bigger? What if we actually figured out what the spleen did? What if it's used to process energies? What if the energies of the human body that create heat, that help you think, that help your heart beat, electricity, various forms of electricity, almost like LEDs? What about the ancient Shaolin, the ancient cultures and tribes of people who are able to transmit energy with their body, float, fly, set things on fire? There's actually dudes on video. They created video and started having all kinds of things caught on video. UFOs, shadows, walking people, things glowing in the dark. There are so many things and so much evidence that after you drink it all in and take a step back and look at the bigger picture, which isn't even the biggest picture, just a